All right, today's puzzle is one that I've been so excited to do. This is the Doubles series from Ceaco. And basically, every single puzzle piece has a smaller puzzle piece that goes inside it. It's basically the Vatican City of puzzle pieces. So these came out in 2003, but mine is still sealed. So let's open it up for the first time ever. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna look at these pieces for the first time ever. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Oh no, I already dropped a piece. But oh my gosh, this is so cool. Look at that. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited to do this puzzle. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, let me bring you in closer. You have to look at this. All right, sure enough, look at that. Is that not the coolest puzzle piece you've ever seen? So every single piece has a smaller puzzle piece cut out from it. And so when you pour this out, you have big pieces and you have little pieces. So it almost looks like two completely different puzzles all mixed together. Now, some of them, the smaller piece didn't quite get punched out, but it seems like those are pretty easy to remove. So as I do the sorting, I'll just go ahead and punch all of those out so I can truly do it from scratch. And so as it says on the front, this is a 600 piece puzzle, but they're counting both the big pieces and the little pieces. So there's 300 big pieces and 300 small pieces. And while I'm up here, here is a quick look at the box. So the one that I have is called Crazy Quilt with Figures. On the front of the box, they actually don't show you the whole image. It's here on the side, this little picture. I think this is the only place where you get the full image. They have a nice little graphic showing how the puzzle pieces work, and it even says approximate piece size. Let's test that out. I think the real pieces are a little bit bigger than that, but well, the small piece is pretty accurate. Maybe I just picked up a big one. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Here on the side, you can see all the info, including where I found out that these were released in 2003. And the one that I have is actually completely faded on this side. Whoever had this before me must have had it up against a window somewhere. But as you saw, it was brand new, so the pieces are totally fine. This is exactly what they look like, you know, straight out of the box. So the question becomes, how do I go about solving this? Because there's a few different ways you could do it. You could do all the big pieces and then fill in all the small pieces. You could try to find the small piece for every single big piece that you put in. You could just do it like normal and put in the big pieces as you find them and then the small pieces as you find them with no rhyme or reason. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna start with the edge, just putting in the big pieces, and then I'll check back in. I mean, this is only, you know, for the big pieces, a 300 piece puzzle, so I don't think it's actually gonna take that long. All right, so we're only 16 and a half minutes in, and I already finished the edge. As I suspected, that didn't give me any trouble at all because the image is so busy, I guess, that, you know, I didn't have any false positives or false fits. I am loving this so far. This is so much fun. I'm purposefully not trying to rush through it because I really want to just like enjoy it and take my time. And so for the edge, I didn't look at the box at all. So I think I'm gonna try to do the entire thing without looking at the box. So I'm just gonna put that down there. That's also gonna help with our next challenge, which is space management. As you can see, the little pieces take up very little room, and then the big pieces take up quite a lot of space. So I think what I'm gonna do, I grabbed some trays. I'm gonna just get the little pieces off the table for now. And in case it wasn't clear, that means that my strategy is that I am gonna finish all of the big pieces, and then I'm gonna do all the little pieces all at once afterwards. But before I get back to that, I am getting hungry. I think it's lunchtime. Look at that. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so excited for this. So all year long, Factor has been an amazing supporter of this channel. And once again, today's video is sponsored by Factor. But we're actually changing things up a little because they're doubling the size of their menu. So they've introduced a whole bunch of new dishes, including this one, which is the herb gravy chicken and smashed potatoes with green beans and apple crumble. Like, it would just never occur to me to even attempt to try to make herb gravy chicken and smashed potatoes with green beans and apple crumble. I wouldn't even know where to start. And here it is. It's so easy. So let's give it a try. This is one of their new ones, so I haven't had this one before. Okay, the potatoes are good. The gravy's good. And the chicken's good too. Okay, I'm so excited to eat this entire plate, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you have no idea like what I'm even talking about or where any of this food came from, Factor is a meal delivery service where you choose exactly which meals you want to get, and then they deliver them to your front door, fully cooked, ready to go. All you have to do is microwave them for a couple of minutes, and then you're done. Now, I'm someone who eats the same handful of meals over and over and over again. And like, they're not necessarily unhealthy meals. I mean, sometimes they are, but basically I'm just not getting a lot of variety. So I love that with Factor, it's so easy to just eat a new meal every day without having to do any meal planning. And like, there's no cooking, there's no cleaning. I mean, you have to clean the plate that you're eating off of, but that's literally it. And like, I was actually using Factor even before they started sponsoring this channel. So yeah, this has just worked out great. If you want to try it, you can go to factor75.com or click the link right down below and use code PuzzlesFB50 for 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code PuzzlesFB50 at factor75.com for 50% off plus free breakfast for an entire year. All right, I'm gonna eat this entire plate and then we'll get back to the puzzle. Oh no, oh my gosh. I had one regular or big puzzle piece mixed in with the little ones. How did that happen? Just a couple more pieces left. Oh, this is so fun. I don't want it to be over. Why are the last 4 pieces giving me so much trouble? All right, here we go. Here we go. And I'm halfway done. That's an hour and 8 minutes on the first half of this puzzle. Next up, it's time for the little pieces. Oh my gosh, this puzzle looks so cool. I love this so much. I've seen some other posts online of other people who have done puzzles from this series, and this is the photo that everyone loves, is seeing the puzzle with all of the little pieces taken out. So you have all of these holes, like a puzzle made of Swiss cheese. Anyway, today is day 2 of this puzzle. I feel like I say this a lot, but this puzzle did not need 2 days of solving. I only worked on it for an hour and 8 minutes yesterday, but I'm loving it so much that, you know, I wanted to spread it out a little and really enjoy it. And I just feel like this piece cut is so brilliant because you do this entire puzzle and then you have an entire second puzzle that you get to do. So I'm really looking forward to placing all of these tiny miniature pieces. I think this is gonna be so fun. Let's do it. Let's finish this up. Oh my God. Wait, that's a perfect fit. How did I do that? Oh, that's so satisfying. No, oh, wait. I thought for sure that went there. Okay, never mind, I found it. All right, I'm about 40 minutes into the small pieces. I just counted and I have 136 pieces left, so I'm a little more than halfway done. As you can see, I've been putting them in pretty randomly just as I spot them. I think it would be really satisfying to just work your way over, but that would obviously take a lot longer. But I'm still loving this. This is so fun. I wish it was more than 600 pieces. I'm almost done. We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes, and I only have 9 pieces left. And the thing now, since it's so busy and there are so few left, I almost feel like I have to run my hand over the puzzle just to find like where the empty spaces are. 5 pieces left. No. No. Wait, how did I get that wrong? There aren't that many pieces left. Maybe this one? No. It has to be this. If it's not this, then something's very wrong. Okay. All right, second to last piece. And now we have one more piece. Wait, where's the last empty spot? I literally don't even see it. Okay, I'm gonna get down onto eye level. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. You need like the shadows to be able to find it. Here we go, the very last piece. Oh my gosh, I did it. That was so fun. I loved that puzzle so much. Unfortunately, I forgot to start the timer again, just for that last little bit. So it's gonna be something like 2 hours and 12 minutes. Oh, that was so fun. I wish I had more of these. All right, so let's talk about these puzzles. This series came out in 2003, which is right on the edge of what I would consider vintage. So I looked online to see how many different images they released with this piece cut, and I could only find 6. 3 kind of nature illustrations, and then 3 miscellaneous. I mean, there's always a chance that some other company licensed the same piece cut, like what happened with the Experience the Edge puzzles, where they used the same cut for the craziest puzzles in the world series. But I haven't come across any other puzzles with this exact same piece cut. If you know of any, please feel free to leave it down in the comments. And I would have loved to have another puzzle from this series for this video. Unfortunately, they're surprisingly hard to find. You know, Ceaco puzzles usually aren't rare. They're like a mainstream, very commercial brand here in the US. You know, they're like a step above dollar store brands, but below the more premium brands. And so usually Ceaco puzzles are very easy to find. But I guess with this series, they only made 6 of them 20 years ago. So I checked, you know, eBay, Mercari, Etsy, just Google, like anything I could think of. And when I'm filming this video, I couldn't find a single copy of these puzzles for sale anywhere on the internet. But if you go to the eBay sold listings, I did have my eye on this one for quite a while, but I just couldn't bring myself to pay $70 for a Ceaco puzzle. I mean, clearly somebody did, so good for the seller, good for the buyer. I'm glad it all worked out. And, you know, going forward, now that someone has paid that, maybe $70 is just the price that we're gonna have to pay. And I know that I'm only making it worse by telling all of you guys about them, by just increasing the demand. For me, personally, I feel like $30 would be a good price for these. For like a mid-tier puzzle with an interesting twist, I think that would be a fair price. But it's not up to me. You know, when we're discussing our collections, my dad always says, everything in the world is only worth what someone else is willing to pay. But I did go onto Reddit to find other people's experiences with the other puzzles from this series. So let's take a look. Let's see what they thought. Okay, so 2 years ago, this person whose username I'm not even gonna try to pronounce did the cow puzzle. And they said it took them 8.5 hours, which I can definitely believe because I think that image is a lot harder than the one that I did. The entire puzzle is only 2 colors, and there's a lot of solid white going on. If you remember when I did the Experience the Edge puzzles, the easier one took me like 3 hours, and then the harder one took me 8 hours. So I can definitely believe that that would happen with this piece cut as well. They also mentioned that they had an issue with the cardboard kind of cracking or bending in half in the thinner sections. I didn't have that issue, but these pieces were brand new out of the box, so I can definitely see that happening if you're handling the pieces a lot, if you solve the puzzle multiple times. For me, the only manufacturing issue that I had is just the smaller pieces not all being punched out from the big pieces. And most of them came out easily, but some of them just weren't cut fully, and so the cardboard on the back did rip a little bit as I was taking them out. And I do have to say, it was a lot of these pieces where the small piece wasn't punched out. Like, it was a really high percentage of them where that happened. But speaking of the smaller pieces, I do want to give credit to Ceaco because I think it would have been easy to have each of these small pieces be the exact same shape across the entire puzzle. But they really did draw a unique shape for every single one, so they're not interchangeable, and you can use the piece shape as well as the image to figure out where each one is gonna go. Okay, so back to Reddit. Rainbow Zipper Brains did the Wilderness puzzle about a year ago, and I feel like this one would be kind of a medium difficulty level since there are different colors and different stuff going on, but everything kind of blends into each other. And this person really liked it. You know, they said a lot of the same things that I've been saying. But down in the comments, there was a discussion about how hard these puzzles are to find. So I'm definitely not the only one who was having trouble finding them. So then I looked at the Jigsaw Puzzle Lovers Facebook group, and I found this post where L'Oreal did the cow puzzle in just about 2 hours. So maybe it's not actually that hard, like who knows? And then Kayla posted some nice photos of the ballerinas puzzle, which I would think would be about the same difficulty level as the quilt puzzle. So when I was looking up these posts about these puzzles, I did see a lot of comments about finding them at yard sales, thrift stores, that kind of thing. And I definitely think that's where they're most likely to be found. You know, being sold by people who don't know how unique and interesting this series is. So I'm hoping that by me making this video, we can all keep an eye out and maybe get more of them back out into circulation. Anyway, back to this specific puzzle. I really wanted to know who the artist was who made this quilt. I looked on the box and the image is just credited to the Shelburne Museum, which is in Vermont. But I did a reverse image search on the finished puzzle, and I found this postcard, which credits the artist as Jeanette Brooks Spalding Wright. And it also says it was made in 1894. And then I also found this Japanese book of quilts put out by that same museum. And the seller posted a photo of the page showing this quilt. So we can actually see the whole write-up about it, and you can read about why and how it was made. So in addition to being a really fun puzzle, this quilt is also just a beautiful piece of art. And that's what I love about puzzles like these. Like, we just get to learn about so many interesting things that otherwise we wouldn't have had any reason to go and look up. And then just one more thing before I go. This actually isn't a brand new concept. I also wanted to show you the greatest jigsaw puzzle of all time. This was released in 1989, so over a decade before this one. This is from Buffalo Games, and I actually also managed to find a brand new shrink-wrapped copy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just open it up right now. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's wild. Okay, so every single puzzle piece in this puzzle has a square cut out of it, and then you also get the squares as another puzzle piece. So straight out of the box, this actually looks really similar to how this doubles puzzle looked. And so I thought about solving both of these in the same video, but this one is actually in a series of 3 puzzles. And if you look at the back of the box, there's kind of a lot going on with this one. So I think I'm gonna get the other 2 and then give these their own dedicated video so that I can really get into like the story and the lore behind them. But here's what I want to know. Are there any others? I feel like there have to be maybe some wooden puzzles like this, but I just can't think of any like off the top of my head. And to be clear, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 whimsy pieces that have cutouts. And I'm also not talking about puzzles that just have different sized puzzle pieces. I'm only talking about puzzles where every single piece has a fully enclosed, smaller puzzle piece. It doesn't have to be a puzzle piece shape. It could be a circle or a square or a star or like any other shape, but it has to be every single piece and it has to be fully enclosed within a larger piece. So let me know down in the comments if you can think of any other puzzles that are like this. So your code word for the comments will be tiny. And I think that's it for today. So I'll see you all in the next one.